Christmas.
Gotcha.
All right, we're live.
All right, and welcome back. We apologize for the technical difficulties. We had a computer crash, and unfortunately, it was driving the helm. So we are back now, and hope to stay live. Rodney, why am I seeing me where you were? There's two of me up.
If he's running it, he's probably showing what's going out over the live stream.
Okay, that's cool. There's a little disconcerting to look up and see two of me in the screen.
How have you duplicated yourself?
I'm cloned. So we were talking
if we can just do that for me a couple of times, then I wouldn't have so much to do. Make my life a lot easier.
Keep an eye on my audio though, because I don't know if I had that fixed or not. But I don't know if y'all can hear me now.
Hold on just a second. Let me go.
Okay. Well, we hope that Rodney's audio. is with us. We'll be watching that as we go. So
yeah, I think I hear you on the. Hear you on the live stream, Rodney.
1, 2, 3. All right, cool.
Steve, are you with us? I thought I saw him come in.
He's not in here still, no. He's not in here still, no.
No. Okay. So we were talking about poisonous snakes in the fall and moving in the fall. Something to be aware of as the leaves fall. As Franklin was saying, copperheads are extremely difficult to see in the grass, and the leaves, but the other snakes are too. By the very nature of being what they are, you just don't see them sometimes until you're on them. Copperheads, unlike the rattlesnakes, and I should say copperheads and cottonmouths, do not give you warning. Where rattlesnakes do. Welcome back.
Hey.
That was an OBS crash. OBS 26. The new one.
Whoops.
And it locked up the entire computer for a bit. And that was just adding an image. So that I can show that picture of the copperhead. And it died. It took it all.
Okay. Well, we're back. We are live.
Woohoo.
We are live.
Woohoo.
Woohoo! And living in the suburbs, we actually killed a pygmy rattler on my mom's front porch a number of years back. Had never seen one of those in town. I'd seen quite a number of other snakes living on the edge of the city, but that was one I had not seen before. And they will warn you. They get about 12 inches long. They don't have enough they're making sound. It's just not loud enough for you to hear. So just beware if you're out in the fall. And enjoying this beautiful weather because on the warmer days especially, they will be out. They may be out sunning themselves. And I think that's all I had to say about the snakes.
My grandparents on my mom's side, they live kind of about 3 miles kind of southeast of Stratford. They've seen copperheads out there off and on. My uncle and my two older cousins, when they had found little, they had found a skin from a rattlesnake where it had shed its skin. I'm sorry. I thought they found it out there. Mom's telling me here in the background that he found it was around but it was around this regional area that one had shed its skin. And the rattle was still intact on the end. Because I don't think that always happens. A lot of times that falls off separate from the skin.
Yeah, I don't think it does. I don't think it does. I usually does. Not aware that it usually does. They do. I know that they do shed them to grow new.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was building a scene for Patty.
That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work.
You and your themes.
Hey, it's not that bad.
Didn't even get a chance to put our oops screen up tonight. We had the oops and couldn't use it.
We need to use that cat.
That darn cat.
That darn cat.
That was $1.25 to the Disney Corporation.
That's right, it's coming out of your car.
I didn't get a chance to put it together where we're all together, so I'm just kind of switching back and forth between people.
That's cool.
Are you talking about this cat?
Ladies and gentlemen, this station and programming is currently experiencing difficulties of the technical variety. Please stand by and we will soon return to your normal, intellectually stimulating programming.
So this is interesting. I had never seen the live chat from YouTube come up in Skype before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, tonight's the first time I've seen it. Well, of course, I had that update right before we went live.
Well, that may be because I think Steve was doing kind of like a little bit of like a screen capture type thing through OBS so that he could put the chat in what was going out on the live stream. So that's probably what you were seeing on his return through Skype.
Ah, okay.
Because I think he did that with the TechNet Sunday as well. That was the first time I'd seen that.
Which was quite funny because everything was just blue.
Yeah. We have found out that Skype's Steve's OBS likes to transpose blue and red.
Well, there's a setting, and sometimes I forget to click it.
What you need to do is just write some notes down. Just say
click switch red and blue. And it's weird it happens. It does it on one computer, but the one on the other side of it. Same everything else does not do it. Don't know what's going on.
It's got to be something. It's got to be something specific to something in that one computer, I would think.
Or a setting that you've changed. Accidentally and didn't.
That's entirely. That's entirely possible. With this system, OBS becomes more and more complicated as we go.
They throw more stuff.
They throw more stuff. Just technology for you.
Just kind of has become maybe slightly top heavy or large by now.
Well, I was watching ham radio TV last night, and their net that they had was interrupted by an OBS crash. And he had done the same thing as I had done, except he's running Windows. And so it crashed. So, it comes with part and parcel with new software that we're not paying for.
True.
So I'm okay with that.
I guess it's kind of a situation beggars can't be choosers.
Very true. Right.
Or what I always say, you get what you pay for.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but there's nobody else out there making anything like this that you can pay for.
Right.
Unless you want to go for megabucks with broadcast studio software and,
The closest thing I could think of would be if someone has something that's close to what NewTek had with the Video Flyer and Video Toaster. Now NewTek is still around. They still make equipment like this. Anyone who's ever watched the TWiT network would be familiar with a piece of equipment called a TriCaster. That's made by NewTek, the same company that made the video toaster and flyer I used in junior high and high school. However, I think the cheapest TriCaster is like $4,000 or $5,000.
Yeah.
So this is way more than we could have ever expected to have, for free. It's just it's some getting used to the process of making this all happen. So I don't know. It will come out eventually, somewhat of a stable version. I know that the 26.0.0 was supposed to include a built-in virtual camera, which would allow you to just click a button and start using OBS with Skype, Zoom, Jitsi, all those things. And it was to be pushed out to Mac and Linux as they went. I don't think Patty has it on her new version yet. I don't know if she's looked.
I haven't looked.
It would be in Tools, and it should be a link that says Start Virtual Camera.
Oh, yeah, I've got that.
Yeah.
You got me curious now.
Means that you don't have to run external software to link it into Skype, which is really great.
I do kind of like their little logo, though. I don't know if it's the same on Linux and Windows, but on Mac, it almost looks like a little throwing star or a weird tire wheel.
Yeah. That's what it looks like here.
Now you said that was what under Tools? It would say, what was that again?
Start Virtual Camera.
I do not see that.
And you're on a Mac.
Yeah, no, I'm on a Mac.
Right, so that hasn't pushed out. When you click on Help, or if you look at the very top, it'll tell you what version you're on.
Yeah, I go to OBS menu, and this could possibly be why it's 25.0.8.
Right, and when you get the update to 26, it's got new stuff, but it also is a little buggy.
Oh yeah, apparently. Apparently it is available.
I was going to say, because I have it on my Mac.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that on the Mac includes the Start Virtual Camera, but it's supposed to on all platforms eventually. So
it does on my Mac. It says.
Steve, if you can go full screen, we'll be good. The stream should now have all three of us, and we should have Kieran's audio should also be in there.
Well, I hope my audio's in there. You cut me out. You cut me out.
But like I said, we're going to have some probably duplicate audio and stuff. I got to get all that figured out. But at least I'm seeing my voice, unlike what was happening last week, rather.
Last time.
Yeah, that was not a good one.
So what you got to do, Rodney, if you want to appear on that yourself?
Okay, I'm working on it.
That's one of those when you're capturing Skype, you got to add your own picture in there. Unless, of course, I've done a few shows. I just kind of was hidden in the corner and. I'm okay.
It's quite funny, and some of the ones that you do, you could just see half of you and half not. It's quite funny.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm not worried. See, there you are.
It's Rodney.
So apparently, two of us trying to do all that on our network just ain't going to cut it. And, the 8-port I got from you, I still need to get a 5-port to get the whole network up to speed. It's still, the bottleneck is in the house now.
Did you
I'm not
get
positive
that
it would be, I'm not positive it's going to solve it, so we may have to always end up doing it this way unless you're just not available.
If he's not available, or if you want me to, I can also run it from mine as well.
That's a good thing to know.
Yeah, and I've installed it on the Mac Pro, and I'm going to, once I kind of get it in its final positioning, I'm going to start kind of learning up on it and see if I can't at least do a minimum if needed.
So, Rodney, a little interesting story. Today I went to see Don, WA2OUV.
Okay.
And I took him a piece of 75 ohm coax that he needed for your antenna. So that would be something to look forward to in the future. But I found this interesting in that neighborhood that Don lives in. They have had a fiber overbuild aerial. They put it in above the cable TV coax, and they're selling CenturyLink fiber optic internet up there.
The CenturyLink guy was doing an install evidently across the street from Don.
Yeah, his daughter was.
Now, maybe I'm confusing it with something else, but is CenturyLink done through the city or city utilities?
No.
Well, there is a connection to SpringNet.
Okay, SpringNet, I think, is what I'm thinking about then.
Yeah, I think they're leasing fiber capacity from SpringNet, but they've also overbuilt. And it's all over that north central portion of Springfield there, where Don's at. And honestly, they're going for the low-hanging fruit, and that is it's easy to overbuild on aerial poles than it is to bury it. So out here in the east wild lands of Springfield, we don't see it yet. But I assure you, there's room on the poles. They'll put it up. And their pricing looks a whole lot better. Even Sean was talking good about it.
Really?
Which is surprising.
I know a customer, a friend of mine that is in Ozark, and he has CenturyLink fiber, and it is far less to be desired, if you ask me. It is not what they're advertising it to be, so hopefully they'll make a big difference there, but
well, I was just wondering, could it maybe be a difference between capacity in Springfield and Ozark?
I mean, it's possible.
Possibly.
It could just be his subdivision too, but I mean, granted, a lot of his connections are wireless, so I got to take that in as a grain of salt. But direct connection is.
Unless it's really, of course, wired is always going to get you faster speeds than wireless, but unless it's super old wireless, it shouldn't be terrible.
Well, I'm not going to talk about that on the air. It was very, I guess, the right word for it would be just, I was disappointed.
Not what you expected.
With the speed that they were saying it was, it wasn't. So, but they're always making adjustments, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
That's what they all say.
You all like the backdrop I put in?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't see on you.
No, I think what you talk about, you added in the middle where it's got the Green County and the logo and everything.
Yeah, that was good.
We'll need to make ourselves an official Jungle Chasers logo. I think we need to do that. Or, I mean, I could always do from the, our standby feed. That would look good, too. Never thought about that one.
Yeah, but down the road, if we could get connected with someone who is artistically inclined, it would be nice.
Who made his own emblem. Just happens.
Well, you never know what might appear out of the
ether of the internet.
Yeah, I got a few tricks up my sleeve. I kind of copied. There was a kind of a relatively famous drag racer in the 70s called Jungle Jim. And I think most guys that were into racing back then probably remember his girlfriend more than him.
But, is that kind of a situation where some people remember Miss Elizabeth a little bit more than they do Macho Man Randy Savage?
Yeah. I did get he's got an updated version of the car that he drove, which was a blue something that had this crazy looking guy with a big body and big chin and little tiny feet on a surfboard. I can modify that a little bit. That might be we could be the Jungle Chasers, whatever.
Already working on one.
I would attempt to, but believe you me, my only artistic talents lie in photography.
Well, you know the logo that I've got on here as my Skype profile picture?
Yeah.
I made that.
Oh, cool.
I like the bee.
Although, I do like the bee.
He made that, but you all need to take a look at a local school in our area that may have taken a little bit too much of his design. If you know what I'm talking about.
Oh,
I hope you're not talking about my alma mater.
Well, we'll keep it off the air.
Those guys wouldn't do that.
I brought it to his attention, and let's just say we had an unhappy bee.
Oh.
Franklin, did you see the latest in the news where they're like tearing down some of your buildings?
I know it is going through a massive renovation, and I don't think necessarily rebuild, but they're renovating, and I think they're adding on. They had added on a massive wing behind there. I think probably like about 10 years or so after I graduated, and I know I don't think the band room is where it was whenever I was there. Media's moved around 2 or 3 different times. They're in the process of building a whole completely new studio for the media department. I saw a picture the other day because Coach Davis, who was the head of the media program for many, many years, he's technically semi-retired now, but he still goes in so many days a week and helps with the media program. He's posted some pictures. HTV Magazine, which is the big kind of monthly produced show that the Hillcrest Media Department's done since like the late 80s. They have their own Facebook page. I only did it for 1 year, but it's something that I kind of keep up on. They have posted some pictures of some of the renovations and everything. They've completely removed one entire wall that was back by the hallway that you go into the library, which I believe was kind of on the other side of where the band room was. And I think the choir room at one time was kind of in between the band room and that hallway that went to the library. They've completely knocked an entire wall out there. Down the hallway past where the old cafeteria was, they had pictures of it. Looked like they'd taken down part of a wall and they were doing new wiring and stuff inside of it. I'm thinking that they said that the new media studio is supposed to be ready. I'm wanting to think they said February maybe of 2021. So it's kind of a process. I can't remember if they passed a bond issue or what it was, but here I think kind of about the middle to the last part of last school year, they passed an initiative to either rebuild or remodel or add on to a lot of schools in Springfield. Ed V. Williams, which is on Kearney, kind of almost catty-cornered from Race Brothers, with the exception of one small section on the back side of the building, they've completely tore that whole school down, and they're rebuilding it brand new from the ground up.
Wow. Well, what I saw was big machinery in front where they were going to tear down some of the front of the building. So.
Yeah. And then that's probably part of some of the oldest original part of the building that was built back in the 50s.
So what we're talking about is the second oldest high school in the city of Springfield.
And I guess I didn't even realize it was second oldest, but yeah, it would be.
It was. Central was first, then Hillcrest, then Parkview, then Glendale, then Kickapoo.
And actually, technically, if you want to get technical, Lincoln was actually before.
Oh, yeah.
Hillcrest.
I forgot about Lincoln.
But it's part of OTC now.
Right.
Well, it was kind of concurrent with Central.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, they segregated.
Yeah. Central was the quote-unquote white school, and Lincoln was the African-American school. And then I can't remember if they actually used it otherwise for a while. I know it kind of sat empty for a long time until OTC kind of absorbed it.
And I think it became Graphotech, and it was the main building. So yeah, it sat empty for a number of years before that happened. So
yeah, see, I was supposed to in 2003, summer semester of 2003, I was supposed to have, I think it was my American history class that I took there, was supposed to be in Lincoln Hall, but it was closed down for renovation. So I ended up having that in, I forgot what the name of the building is, that newer building. I think it was only like a year old at the time, kind of that building that kind of sits out in front of the Information Commons, which is that main building of OTC. It's like this other separate building. It's not really round, but it's not really square. That's kind of between Chestnut and the Information Commons.
I'm hearing beeping.
That was the.
I am too.
Oh.
It's outside.
Oh, right.
Outside.
I thought it was one of your guys' computers or something was about to blow up.
Franklin says it was
about
microwave.
that time, it was the microwave. I'm not in my normal location, and I wasn't last week either. Being I don't have the new cable internet installed yet, and this Mac Pro that I'm running off of does not have a Wi-Fi card in it because, spend tons of money on a computer, Wi-Fi should be optional because, people who's going to buy a workstation class computer, they're not going to use Wi-Fi. They're just going to have an Ethernet cable to plug in the back of it, right? I mean, the computer comes with two of them, so, why would you want to use Wi-Fi? So I've got to have it in here in the front room next to the TV where the current modem is to be able to access the internet. But here, hopefully before too long, that will all be taken care of, and I'll have a nice 100 megabit per second connection 3 feet from the computer in the spare bedroom.
That'd be nice.
Yes.
So I think we've already done our rant.
No, I have a rant, and I have a nice rant this time.
Well, Rodney has a rant graphic.
Okay, well, Rodney,
so we better let Rodney do that.
First. Yes. Because mine's a friendly rant.
Here we go.
Oh, dear.
It turned out better than I thought it would.
That's great. Take cover.
And I like how it's a crawl. I know you were talking about trying to make it flash, but the crawl almost makes it like it's a National Weather Service weather alert.
I know, I did that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So
Brilliant.
who's first?
I guess Rodney. It sounds like Rodney's got some explosiveness he needs to get off his chest.
What?
Yeah.
Well, Steve said you had a violent rant. So.
Oh no! I just said you had a rant graphic.
No, it was the graphic.
Graphic. I'm sorry. Graphic. Oh,
That's
a graphic
made it
as
all
in.
better.
Okay, I got it. Graphic as in visually presenting, not graphic as in I want to punch someone.
No, I mean, this went through. I about blew out my soundboard because I had my volume levels turned too high, and I about knocked my eardrums out. But other than that, it looks good.
I almost made a political statement there. I'll lock it down.
You'd be better.
Yeah, you don't want to get knocked down.
No politics here.
So I guess if no one else wants to go first, I guess I can go with mine first.
So mine's not really a rant. Mine's kind of a half and half.
You can go first, Franklin. You're on the camera.
Okay. Well, I guess mine is slightly tiny. A little bit might be considered not really political, but it may be like a Springfield Tea Party in a way.
Get us hit with a complaint now.
Yeah.
I would dream of
it. You're on the stream, so we put ourselves at risk every week.
So, you guys probably know I have probably not on here, but in real life, I've made a few passing comments to the fact that I like tea. There is a particular company called Tazo. I love any other products that they have. Sometimes they're a little bit more expensive, but I don't mind it sometimes because the flavor and the quality is a little bit better for bought and prepackaged tea. They have a pumpkin spice chai that I absolutely love. They normally only have it around fall time. I can understand that. Pumpkin spice, it's a seasonal thing. I cannot find it in town anywhere except for at Target. I can't find it at Price Cutters. I can't find it at Walmart. I can't find it at Hy-Vee. When Dillon's was still here, I couldn't find it there. All these places sell Tazo tea products. They sell their regular chai. They do not sell the pumpkin spice chai. The only place I can find it is at Target here in Springfield. So my rant is Walmart, Hy-Vee, Price Cutters, carry the freaking pumpkin spice chai.
You know that you can order online from Target and walk in and pick up. It's right there by the door. You turn around and go right back out.
I know. And I mean, they actually, oddly enough, I think they have it for a little bit less than everyone else does, with the exception of maybe Walmart, because they sell it for like $3.29 a box. I think most other places I've seen it like $4 something. Sometimes they'll even run them on sale. I think last year around this time, whenever I went and I got a couple boxes, they were running them on sale for I think like 2 for $5. So I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but it's just kind of like, really, you guys sell their products, so why not?
Have you ever asked them to order some in?
No, I haven't, and I know a lot of places will do that. Particularly whenever it first opened, there was a couple things that they didn't have at the price cutters there at not Division in Gladstone. That's not even there anymore. At St. Louis and National, whenever they took it over from Dillon's. Oh yeah, we'll see if we can get it in for you, if we can order it in. It's just, I guess, I'm being a typical privileged American and thinking you should just have it there for me. And like you did say, you can order it online. I can probably even order it directly from Tazo, and who knows, I might even be able to get it just slightly a little bit cheaper than from them, because I know whenever we had the Keurig, the Twinings K-Cups, you could get boxes of like either 18 or 20 of the K-Cups for about around the same price as what a box of like 10 or 12 in the regular stores would cost. So I could probably save money ordering it online anyway. I don't know. I'm still in this neutral zone about ordering stuff online. I've ordered a few things from Amazon and loved it. I've gotten a couple things off of eBay so far and liked it. I don't know. I'm kind of one of those people, and I get not everyone is like this. I like to go shopping almost as much for the experience of it and seeing what's available, what different places have, as much as just going in and getting what I need and getting out.
His feed is unstable. It keeps fluctuating.
Well, that is to be typical of me. I am unstable.
Ours did that. With my Skype feed, it would never be a stable size. And it goes back to Skype will send the resolution that it's got bandwidth for. And if it's fluctuating, it goes up and down.
Yeah.
Wish there's some way to make that fixed.
Yeah, feed Skype with OBS. It'll force it.
Well, we have to figure that out.
Interesting.
Well,
but that's pretty much my rant.
In the end of the day, the fix in our house was fixing bad cables. But the other part of the problem here is that when two of us are online and she shares a 1080 picture of the screen, I can't receive it because we're both on the same line. So we're the one that needs the most internet and probably have the least of the bunch.
Oh no. Right now, I think I am
Franklin's
definitely
the champion of low bandwidth.
Yeah, because like I said, I'm only paying for 6 right now, and sometimes I get 6 or just slightly over. But I think what you guys are on like a 30 megabit plan.
It's 30, but we only get 30 up. We don't, or down. We don't get 30 up.
Yeah, and see, that's the only thing that I might maybe have a slight benefit, because usually I get like about 6 down and about somewhere between 5 to 6 up.
I'd love to have 6 up. That would be amazing for us.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not paying extra for symmetrical service or anything. That's just.
And our Wi-Fi is poo. There are times on my phone where I have to actually get off the Wi-Fi and go on 4G to do something on my phone. Even sitting 50 foot from the Wi-Fi, I can't. So I'm constantly switching back and forth.
Gotcha.
But that's not my rant tonight.
Oh dear.
What is your rant?
I guess I'm next. My rant is people. I'm
out.
That would be one that I could agree with.
I've seen a trend, and it seems to be getting worse. Of course, this time of year is always rough, about every 4 years. But It's not just that. It's a general trend of people who um, believe a certain way, and they think that everybody should believe the way they do, or it doesn't validate them. And I don't care what your belief is. I don't care religiously, spiritually, politically, what your beliefs are. You're a person, you're a human being, and you have value. But to put people down or to denigrate what other people have to say is wrong. We have rights. We have personal rights, especially in this country, to speak as we shall, to believe as we will, and those beliefs are getting trod on. Now, if those beliefs are hurtful toward other people, yes, they need to go away. Because it's not okay in any way to hurt another person intentionally. And there's too much of that going on. There's too much of that going on in social media. There's too much of that being allowed to go on apps that are going unsupervised, that parents should be watching. There's too much bullying. And, speak your mind. Say what you will. Say your beliefs. That's fine. If I don't agree, I may or may not pass by what you post on your social media. But I have a right to do that too. I don't have to read it just because it's there. And unless I see a blatant, oh, you haven't researched this, let me provide you some other information kind of situation, I'm not even going to comment, because it's their right to believe the way they believe. That's my rant. There's too much hurting going on.
And I wholeheartedly agree.
That actually kind of leads me on quite perfectly to my semi-rant and semi I don't even know what else to call it really, but I lost a very, very dear friend of mine this week. His name's Matt Ratner. You might have heard of him. He's a police officer who was fatally shot. In fact, about this time last week.
In fact, I think I may have got a notification about a oh no, wait, that's the wrong thing. Here, I'll look it up and I'll ask you here in a few minutes. Go ahead, B.
Yeah, he was the custody sergeant. He basically over here, the custody sergeant is when somebody gets arrested and brought down to the cells. He's the one that books them all in and gets all of the paperwork stuff sorted. But the arresting officer of this one individual did not search the suspect for some stupid reason, considering as he was actually under arrest for possession of ammunition for a sidearm. And then as soon as they got into the actual cells, they didn't search him. He pulled the gun, shot him, and then shot himself. Unfortunately, Matt passed away, and this other one is still in critical condition in hospital. Yeah, I mean, I know there was a lot of gang affiliation with him. I don't know too much else about it, as this isn't my case. I just know Matt personally, and that's not very nice, especially as it was definitely avoidable, and it was kind of just caught in the crossfire. It was not very nice, and I don't think anything like that should have happened.
It sounds like it was avoidable.
it was very avoidable. And as much as I blame the one that actually fired the gun, I kind of, maybe wrongly, but this is kind of coming from my experience and how I deal with my stuff, is the officer that brought him in is just as guilty, because you never, ever, ever bring a suspect into a closed custody suite like that without searching them.
And while you were talking, I did look up and I found the notification from the BBC, and I didn't even realize they even had his name in it. And I had meant to ask you kind of after the show if you had heard about this and that police officer. I'm sorry that it was a friend of yours that was involved in the situation. And you know, I'm sure that fellow police officer is probably beating himself up right now, because he's probably thinking, you know, had I searched him, that wouldn't have happened. But yeah, at the same time, I can understand. I don't think necessarily not justified at being upset at him for not doing the search. I think most anyone, particularly someone else who's in your field, would be like, how could that have happened? How could you have not searched it? Who knows? Maybe he was having a bad day. Maybe he had something happen earlier in that day. Maybe he just, for whatever reason, slipped his mind. I'm not saying that as an excuse, because, I mean, that's the type of job. For whatever reason, you make a tiny mistake, it can cost lives. So I mean, I definitely think your feelings there are valid. You know, not being in law enforcement, not really having anyone who's a close friend or family member who's been in law enforcement. Yes, we dealt with law enforcement with the wrecker business, but that was, you know, towing cars. That wasn't a situation where, you know, you had the potentiality for life and death, other than, you know, someone being killed in a car accident. I'm very sorry that happened.
It's not
so
nice.
What I might offer on that one, not that I know anything at all, but I'm betting your officers would benefit from a little time spent here in America, where it's a little bit more common to find somebody with a gun.
I think that is also another thing. I mean, it's a little bit inexcusable because of what the guy was arrested for. I mean, he was arrested for possession of ammunition. I mean, 9 times out of 10, where there's ammunition, there is normally a firearm.
Yeah.
But it's over here, they don't have firearms, especially handguns. That's something you'll find once in a blue moon over here on a suspect, unless you're in dead centre of London somewhere. They're a little bit more common there, but
it could have just as easily been a knife.
True.
Yeah, for not searching him.
Oh, but I mean,
something that could be used as a blunt object.
If the laws are such that a handgun is uncommon, you know, you can see where somebody would become complacent and not think about it, because generally you don't encounter them. Unlike the police officers here, which, you know, the legal carry of firearms is quite common, and the guys have to be on their toes. They got to be, because I know we joked about, you know, with all this stuff going on here in the States with defund the police and all that, and we joked about, yeah, there's probably not a police officer needs to respond to a naked man call on the north side, but You know what? That guy could have a freaking pistol.
Well,
and that's not.
Here they're going to search him anyway because of drugs being so common. See, if you ever watched Cops and watched the Springfield PD, or watched what was the other one?
Live PD.
Yeah.
Live PD.
Greene County Sheriff's Department. Every one of them that they stopped, it seems like, had drugs on them, and start unloading their pockets, and then they find more in the vehicles. So they're going to search them. And I don't know how different that is over there, but drugs are a huge problem here, and
it's bad over here for drugs. But what all of my officers do anyway, or the officers that work in my department, all of our ones are at the side of the road, especially if they're getting arrested. They will have just a Panera Road pat down search at the side of the road before they get into the back of the cars, and then once they get to the station, that's when they'll have a bigger main search to make sure that they aren't having don't have got concealed drugs on them, or weapons or anything like that.
Would be my condolences. This has to hurt. You go to work every day and you expect to see these faces, and I'm sure he had a family of some sorts. My heart goes out to them, and to you, and to all of your brothers in law enforcement over there. This stings, whether you know them or not. They're still part of that brotherhood, and I do hope that they have someone that you can go to, some kind of critical intervention trained officer who can, that you guys and gals can go to grieve, to talk about your feelings on this.
And we do, but I tend to like to deal with things on my own. It's just always been my thing.
There's always us. We're here for you, man.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
I really appreciate that.
That is a fact. And we can do it off the air, too.
And I know me and Steve and Rodney, we can offer our own kind of advice and ways of trying to console someone, not to be putting her on the spot. But Patty is a trained crisis counselor.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Kieran, at some point, we're going to make you laugh.
Oh yeah, I know. You do it all the time.
We do that sometimes.
Tires ringing the doorbell.
Knock knock, speedy delivery.
So,
because I needed a new tire for my trailer.
In that same realm, I feel a little bit we need to talk about, because I did run a live, well, not live, it was recorded, for Ron K0RGT, who passed. And, I'm not going to say that it wasn't expected, but he was not a young man either. He was getting close to 80. Lived a pretty great life, and did firefighter. He did, what else was it? TV repair.
He was in law enforcement. He was Office of Emergency Management Director for Douglas County, for the city of Ava. He was amateur radio emergency services, involved both locally and at state level. This man was amazing. in what he did. One of his sons talked about he actually served on the first Boeing 747 fitted for firefighting out west, and was one of the ones that went in and made sure that the equipment on board was working and functioning correctly. So yeah, he had an amazing life, and he married to a woman equally amazing in her own right, who's very, very strongly committed to community service, and she's broken right now. She needs our support. We need to be checking on her regularly. This was her soulmate of 42 years. Can't even imagine.
You know, to be honest with you, I don't know if anybody can see the live feed of that funeral, but the minister that spoke was a former deputy sheriff from Douglas County. Now, just a little background for those who are not from in the area or know Douglas County. This place is remote.
Yeah.
I think I haven't looked at the whole county's population, but we're not talking about something much over about 20,000 people that live in a fairly large county in Missouri.
Yeah, that was one thing until I got involved in more the regional operations of Skywarn. I did not realize Douglas County is a freaking long county.
Yeah.
And it covers a lot of area. And if you're kind of a little bit familiar with, kind of some of the communities like Ava and Seymour, they're not really densely packed areas.
So, according to Wikipedia, the population in the 2010 census was 13,684.
Wow.
That's the whole entire county.
That's the entire county.
That's got to be close to, or maybe just slightly more than the population of Marshfield, I think.
I don't know.
I think Marshfield's like about 10 or 11,000.
Trying to share again. I don't know if it'll come across.
Yeah.
So we're located in Springfield, which is to the upper left of the map here. The big box in the center of the screen is the county, is Douglas County. And you can see that a portion of it is Mark Twain National Forest, as indicated by the dark green. Not a whole lot of roads through there, and you're not going to see a whole lot as I zoom in. There are some little tiny county roads, but
and a lot of those are
dirt or gravel, and you're not going to see a lot of towns located along these roads. So it is very remote.
So even though that place doesn't have a lot of population, they have their challenges in law enforcement. Ron was one of the guys that actually put a repeater in Ava so they could actually talk from places like Van Zandt or Drury or Gentryville, and the officers wouldn't have to serve on the east end of the county without backup.
Right.
And
I put repeaters in for them so that they could continue to communicate when they were in those very remote areas.
Hate to use the reference, but I think Deliverance has a little bit of ring to it there. It's kind of backwards. But
are you saying we could pull up on a general store and watch dueling banjos play out on the front porch?
In Gentryville, yeah. I've been to it. It's right by the Abbey, Assumption Abbey, I think is what it's called. But Ron was a great guy. The minister preached a sermon that it was very touching, and it hit a lot of people more than just someone who was grieving the loss of a soulmate. I felt anyway. The funny part at the end, though, and even though Teresa was really, really crying and suffering. She giggled. No Vince Gill songs at my funeral. I banned it. There wasn't a dry eye in the place.
I take it Ron was not a Vince Gill fan then.
He was a great Vince Gill fan, but the song they played was the worst choice that you could have made for a bunch of grievers because it hit us right here.
Right in the feels.
Oh, yeah. Not a dry eye in the place. Even the police officer was done. Well, and we had, how many, was there 8 or 10 volunteer firefighters there?
And I don't know how many from the sheriff and police.
Yeah, didn't you say the sheriff?
The sheriff himself was there, yeah.
Was sitting behind me, and Patty's, well, did you look at him and see? Hell, I couldn't look at anybody. I'd been hit. But I got a giggle out of Teresa in a bad time, but still, she got a little bit of a laugh out of it.
That's good.
Because she went there and took care of what it seemed nobody else was and made sure there was food at the house. Which that's something I don't understand, because my family, when somebody passes, you might as well not cook for the next 2 weeks, because
we always did that.
It surprised me. There was nothing else that anyone had brought in. So Teresa was going to go shopping, and I said, no, I'll bring. And she didn't need that in addition to everything else that was going on. I had a question for Kieran. We did a final call for Ron on the radio. Do you do a final call for your members when they pass?
Yeah, over the dispatch radio, yes.
That has to be so hard for the dispatchers. I think knowing dispatchers, as I do, I know a few, everybody else is teary-eyed too, but the dispatcher that has to do that, I can't even imagine. It's hard. You feel that loss, even if you don't personally know that person. My heart goes out to you, Kieran. And I'm going to say again, we're all here for you. And if we need to do this off the live feed, we will do this for you anytime. It doesn't have to be a Thursday night. If you need us, holler.
And I do really appreciate that.
Yep. And so we have Rodney, the man who created the graphic himself. What is your rant, sir?
I don't know that I have a rant tonight. I mean, it's just...
Says the man who rants to me all the time.
Steve said graphic rant. I was expecting, like blood and knives, like and clubs, and maybe some punching, and he's like, I don't really have one tonight.
No, I'm gonna refrain this week. I'm sure I could probably build something up for next week, but I'm gonna refrain. I'll just get all riled up anyway. I'll probably I can tell you guys off the air, but again, it's professional, and I'd rather just keep it that way.
I can understand that.
So, with that being said, it is 10:30.
So
unless we have something else, I didn't want to just cut people off, but...
No, he's like, you're done.
Well, I am the producer.
You could do like me and have your computer crash, and then it's over. No what you did.
Oh, computer crash.
I'm not going to do that. I'm going to let you all have your 73 and go from there.
All right. So thank you for bearing with us tonight, despite our technical difficulties. Once again, we will get this ironed out, I promise. We do have backup plans, so that is good. Hopefully fewer of these in the future. Thanks again for joining us. Hope that we were able to entertain you as well as educate you. And we will be back next week. Franklin has promised us a topic on the frost. And it is that time of year. Along with sweater weather comes the icy stuff we have to scrape from our windshield. So, with that, I wish you all a happy, blessed, and prosperous rest of the year. 2020 has been a challenge on all of us, but we will persevere. We will get through this together. 73 all from KD0AEL.
And I hope everyone enjoyed the show this evening. Like Patty said, we'll get the kinks worked out of it, and we'll have a flawless show one day. Hope that we educated you. I know I certainly didn't know what an equilux was, but now I do. And of course, again, once again, I'm very sorry to hear about the officer that lost his life in London. My heartfelt sympathies to Kieran and to the gentleman's family and friends and co-workers and just the general law enforcement in the UK. So with that, I wish everyone 73s, or in ham radio parlance, best wishes, and we will see you all next week, and I will have that frost presentation.
And right, I'll say goodbye.
I'm next. So hey, 73 guys.
I forgot about you, Kieran. I was just trying to. You're coming up next.
73 guys. Appreciate everybody joining us again. Sorry about the crash. But anyway, this is Steve, KA0SPM. Join us again next week. We'll be back. Over to you, Kieran.
I'll say goodbye. I hope I didn't bum everyone out too much, but yeah, just something that happens in my line of work, unfortunately. So I'll say goodbye, and I'll speak to you next week. Hope everyone enjoyed, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.
All right, well, I guess that leaves me. I appreciate you guys being patient with us. And again, I'm learning the ropes on how this all works as well. Trying to, put things together on the fly is not as easy as it looks. I don't know how Steve does it. So anyway, that's definitely something that we're getting a lot better at, and hopefully we'll get a little bit more automated and things like that. But thanks for joining us. Again, please like, share, and subscribe, or let your friends subscribe. Back them into a corner if you need to. Tell them they need to like Jungle Chasers. But we appreciate all of you who have interacted with us via chat, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you guys next week. So until then, 7-3 from K0FZ.
Bye.
Bye.
Everybody back to say goodbye.
The wave.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm doing my variations of the royal waves.